Okay, everybody, we have our first video today. We're kind of doing it in class just to get some practice. So we're going to talk about some basic definitions, some rules, some words that you'll be seeing all year long. So that's where we're going to start off. So first of all, make sure you're on the right page. We're on the 1-2 points, distance, and segment section. And we're first just going to start off with some basic vocabulary. So first thing, we're going to see this word a lot. This is probably something you're familiar with, is the term point. So a point is an exact location in space. It has no size. It's just like a point on the graph that you plotted a lot last year. It's just one single point in space. So the notation, you're going to see there's going to be a little dot, and a capital letter will usually name those points. So there's the notation, and actually the diagram is going to be the same thing. So if you were to plot a point on a graph or on a diagram, that's what it'll look like. And obviously it can be named anything, not necessarily P. A line is a series of points that extends in two opposite directions infinitely and has no thickness. So if you think about like the corner of one of the walls in our room where two of the walls meet, that's a line. So it goes on forever and has no thickness. So the notation for a line, let's say we have a line that's called AB. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then there will be a little mini line above it like that. So that represents line AB. You can also see lines named with lowercase cursive letters. So line L might look like that. Line M is another common one. So what it'll look like, if this is an actual full official line, you make sure you have arrows on it because it goes on forever. And that's what line L would look like with that nice cursive L there. And the reason why it would be named line AB is if there were 2 points, A and B, on that line. Okay? So I know I'm kind of going slow now. If you need to pause, if you need to rewind, if I went too quickly, again, that's the whole goal of these videos. So make sure you're doing what you need to do to get all the notes down, to hear what I'm saying. So definitely pause, rewind if you need to. All right, the pause button is very valuable. Okay, a plane might be something that's a little new to you. So a plane is a flat surface that extends in all directions without end. So it's kind of like a line, but it has more dimensions to it. So it has no thickness. And what I think about when I hear plane is I think about a piece of paper that just goes on and on and on forever. So a plane contains infinitely many lines. So you can draw lines in the plane, which you don't really need to. But a plane can be named using a single capital letter in cursive or by using 3 points that are on the plane. So this plane here, you can see the M in the corner. To notate this, we would make the little plane, actually that's too big, let me do that again. To notate this, we would have a little kind of a mini plane here and then the capital M. So that would say plane M. We could also call it plane QUI by naming the points that are on that plane. All right, so we'll get used to that. You'll see those things show up quite a bit this year. Distance. We probably know what distance is. The distance is the length of a straight line segment that connects 2 points. All right, and this I'm going to go really quickly through. Distance, when you see the word distance, you're just thinking about length. So if I say, what is ST, and this is actually a word that I'll define on the next page, so I jumped the gun a little bit. That line above it, that means segment ST. So the first question is just asking us for how far, how long, what is the distance between points S and T. So you can count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. You can subtract. We know we're going from 8 to -4 or from -4 to 8. And the difference between those two numbers is 12. But that's all we're talking about with distance. So you'll see number lines. You'll see us talking about distance on an XY axis a lot later on this year. So that's what it means when it's looking for distance. All right, if you want to fill these in, you can. I will pause my video and fill those in on my own. So if you want to take a minute and just kind of test yourself to make sure you have the idea, pause the video now. I will fill in my answers. And then when you unpause, the answers will be there for you to check. So you'll see me do that a lot this year as well to kind of test yourself as you go. All right, so there are the answers. Hopefully you did well there. If not, you can, this is the time where you come in for help or talk to a friend. So there's your few major first definitions. So let's flip to the next page.
All right, so you can see I'm jumping around a little bit. I made a couple edits to this video from what I've used in the past. So for this screen, I want you to kind of think about it more on your own instead of me going it through all the way with you. So in the diagram below, points A, B, C, and D are collinear. We're going to get a definition for that officially in a second, but it means they lie in the same line. All right, the length of segment AC is 7.5 centimeters. I didn't actually measure this. I think it's close, but don't worry about it. You can just use these values that I gave you. So AC is 7.5 centimeters. BD, segment BD, segment BD is also 7.5 centimeters. So they're the same length. All right, and I'm also telling you that BC, segment BC, so this little guy right here in the middle, is 5.2 centimeters. So looking at that information, what statement can you make about line segments AB and CD? And why can you make this statement? All right, so there's a couple little interesting things happening here. You probably have an idea of what the answer is going to be, but the key thing here is I want you to think about this word why. So you've probably heard people talking about proofs in geometry. I don't want that to be like a scary word for you and think it's, oh my gosh, I don't know how to do these. I've heard from my brothers and sisters, proofs are so hard. But I just want you to kind of logically tell me or lay out your reasoning. Why can you make this statement that you're making about segments A, B, and C, D? So what can you tell me about them? And why can you make this statement? All right, so next class, we'll start off, we'll do a live Zoom with the remote students, and we will talk about what we know, what we discovered about segments A, B, and C, D. All right, so it's going to jump you back to the old video in a second, but there's your notes for that part of it, and I will talk to you guys soon. All right, keep watching.
There's a lot of kind of math definitions there. So 3 points, A, B, and C are collinear, as they are in this picture, and B is between A and C, then AB plus BC must equal AC. The way I always remember it is that the whole is equal to the sum of its parts. Okay, the whole is equal to the sum of its parts. It's really straightforward. If AB is 2 and BC is 5, then guess what the whole thing has to be? It has to be 7. Okay? So that's the addition postulate for segments. Right here, I'm going to skip past this for now. This is going to be your online homework check. So you don't have to write this if you need the space to do some work. But I have the Google form ready to go. It has these 6 questions in there, and there's a fill-in-the-blank short answer response for you to give. So I want you to read this really carefully. The important thing to kind of unlock this puzzle is that right there. So a lot of geometry is going to be kind of solving, piecing together little puzzles. So in this case, we know GH, HI, and IJ are all the same. They're all equal. So the symbol that I'll mark in to show that they're equal, I'll put a little slash in all of them. All right, so what I want you to do is do your best. Here's some other information. I want you guys to try to solve this puzzle when the video's over and upload those answers into your Google form. Okay? So come back to this. We have one more little page to get to, just a couple more definitions, and then you'll be done. So next page. Collinear. 3 or more points that lie on the same straight line. So in this case, A, B, and C are all collinear. So not much to that question there, not much to that definition. A ray is the part of a line consisting of one endpoint and all the points on the other side of that endpoint. So a ray stops. So a ray might be labeled like this. We might call it ray AB and label it like this because it stops on one side. This is a really important one for us this year, are line segments. A line segment is the part of a line consisting between two endpoints. All right, I'm sorry, consisting of two endpoints and all the points between them. So I'll just randomly name this CD. So there's line segment CD. Really important notation is just like that. Just the letters that make up the endpoints with a little line segment above it. Notice there's no arrows there. So that's when you're going to see a lot this year. Okay? Coplanar are a set of points that lie on the same plane. So a lot like collinear, but just for a plane. So in this case, A, B, C, and D are all coplanar. They all exist on the same plane. Okay, I'm going to skip. This is a little longer video than usual, so I'm sorry about that. I'll do my best to keep them short. But these are a couple more important ideas. So why is it possible to talk about the measure or length of a line segment, but not about the measure or length of a line? The reason is a segment has endpoints. So it stops. A segment ends. Lines and rays go on forever. So lines and rays go on forever. They never stop. They go on and on and on. That's why there's arrows on them. So you can't tell me how long a line is. You can tell me how long a line segment is, though. Okay? And down below, we're going to not hit this right now. 3 different ways to name this line. Remember our notation from above? We can call it, if I'm just picking points, we can call it line EF, for example. I could call it line FA, for example, just again picking points. I could call it line EA. I could pick any of those. Or, kind of nice, I could just call it line M. That was a little sloppy. Line, and then that lowercase cursive m that I got from right there. Okay, there's a question below this we're going to work on as a group in a second. Good job. I hope that video made sense to you. So now you're going to go on and try that homework check. Submit it on the Google form, and then we'll talk again as a group. All right, good job, guys.